who's actually going to get the most out of a commercial-grade back bar cooler? Is it a good fit for a small homebrew setup, a neighborhood taproom, or maybe a busy catering service? And for the everyday bar owner who just wants a reliable place to keep a few cases chilled, does the price make sense? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Those are the questions that kept me up last night, scrolling through specs and trying to picture the unit in a real-world setting instead of just reading a laundry list. When you first see a 12 cubic foot stainless steel bar fridge with LED lighting and glass doors, the mind jumps straight to wow, that's a lot of space for beer. But space alone doesn't solve the problems most of us face: inconsistent temperatures, noisy compressors that drown out conversation, and a unit that looks great in the showroom but struggles in a cramped back-of-house. I tried to picture the BODEGACOOLER in 3 typical scenarios: a boutique cocktail bar with a rotating craft selection, a small-scale event catering operation that needs to move a fridge from kitchen to venue, and a home enthusiast who wants a professional-looking display in the garage. Those mental drills helped me separate the hype from the practical value. Let's start with the people who will actually benefit. If you run a bar that serves a decent volume of bottled or canned drinks and you want the product on display to entice customers, the glass doors and LED backlighting do more than look pretty, they turn the cooler into a mini showcase. The tempered glass stays clear even after months of opening and closing, which matters when you're constantly pulling cases out for service. The stainless steel SUS 304 top not only resists the inevitable spills and splashes, it also holds up against the occasional stray bottle that gets knocked over. For a taproom that wants to keep 168 bottles or cans within easy reach while still looking sleek, that durability translates into fewer maintenance calls. The other group that sees real value is anyone who moves a cooler around regularly. The BODEGACOOLER comes with 4 360-degree casters that roll smoothly over concrete, tile, or wood floors. In my mind, I imagined a catering crew loading the unit onto a dolly, wheeling it into a banquet hall, and setting it up beside a temporary bar. The casters lock in place, so the fridge doesn't drift when the door is opened, which is a surprisingly common complaint with cheaper models. If you're a pop-up vendor or a food truck operator who needs a portable refrigeration solution that looks serious, those wheels are a genuine time saver. Now, who should walk away? First, anyone who only needs a tiny under-counter fridge for a handful of drinks will probably feel the price pinch. The BODEGACOOLER is built for volume, and you'll be paying for capacity you never use. Second, if you operate a high-traffic nightclub where the temperature swings are extreme and you need a fridge that can stay sub 35 F even when the room is sweltering, you might want to look at units with more aggressive cooling systems and independent temperature zones. This model sticks to a single thermostat, which is fine for most bar settings but can struggle when the ambient temperature spikes above 90 F for long periods. Speaking of temperature, the practical performance is worth a closer look. The cooler uses an auto defrost system, so you won't be dealing with the icy buildup that forces you to shut the unit down for manual defrosting. In a typical bar environment, that means you can keep the doors open for short bursts without worrying about frost forming on the interior walls. However, the auto defrost cycle does cause a brief pause in cooling every few hours. Most reviewers have noted that the temperature dip is only a degree or two, but if you're storing a particularly temperature-sensitive brew or a batch of premium sodas, that pause could be a minor inconvenience. Noise is another real-world factor. The compressor hums at a level that's comparable to a standard residential refrigerator, audible, but not overpowering. In a quiet lounge or a small tasting room, you'll hear it if you're sitting right next to the unit, but it won't dominate the soundscape. For a bustling bar with loud music and chatter, the noise essentially disappears into the background. If you're planning to place the cooler in a home kitchen or a dining area where the fridges becomes part of the conversation, you might need to think twice. One practical strength that's easy to overlook is the interior layout. The 12 cubic foot space isn't just a single open volume. The shelving is adjustable, which lets you stack taller bottles on one side and keep a row of smaller cans on the other. I visualized a scenario where a bartender needs quick access to a specific seasonal lager while simultaneously rotating a case of IPAs. The flexibility of the shelves means you don't have to waste space trying to jam everything into a one-size-fits-all configuration. On the flip side, the unit doesn't come with built-in temperature monitoring or a digital display on the front. You'll need to rely on the